The scream leaves Maya Collins before she can stop it, a ripped seam in the quiet. She clutches 7-year-old Eli and feels his ribs move like frightened wings. Derek Shaw glares, and the door rattles the frame as he storms out. The sirens outside sound near and cruel. Maya said, "You are not taking him again." Eli said, "Mom, is it my fault?" She holds him tighter and feels the tremor in her own arms. The lamp throws a tired circle over toys and unpaid bills. The air smells like rain and copper. Her phone buzzes with Lauren Kim's name, but she cannot answer. Maya said, "We are okay," and she hears the lie scratch her throat. Her mind races through court papers, late shifts, and the look the school counselor gave her. She remembers the friend who warned her, and the friend who lied. A pan rocks on the stove, and the hiss sounds like a fuse. She thinks of the past she buried. She thinks of what she will do if he comes back. Maya said, "I will fight for you," and Eli nods against her collarbone. Morning finds the apartment smelling of wet concrete and burnt toast. Maya said, "Shoes, buddy," and Eli hops down from the chair and reaches for them with a yawn. The clock blinks where the power flickered. She checks the door chain twice and breathes in through her teeth. Her chest feels stitched too tight. Eli said, "Will Dad come today?" She kneels and ties his laces slower than needed. Maya said, "Not today. We have school and I have work." She sees the bruise of worry under his eyes and wonders who noticed yesterday. The corridor outside hums with neighbors and laughter that does not belong to them. She pours coffee into a cracked mug and watches it steam like a small signal flare. Lauren's text says, "I can take Eli after school." Maya said, "Thank you," to an empty room, and the words still help. She pockets bus fare and slides the court letter into her bag. The paper edges feel like blades against her palm. She stands taller than her fear, for Eli is watching. The bus breathes to a stop with a sigh, and Maya guides Eli up the steps. The driver nods like a witness who will not testify. Seats are patched vinyl that squeak with each corner. Eli said, "Can I sit by the window?" She nods and links her arm through his. Buildings slide by like chapters she skipped, and every storefront knows her name. Maya said, "We are on time," and checks the envelope again as if it might vanish. Her phone buzzes with a blocked number, and she lets it ring into silence. A teenage couple laughs in a key that stings. Eli presses his forehead to the glass and draws a circle in the fog. He writes "Mom" in the circle. Maya said, "Nice handwriting," and he smiles a little. The bus lurches, and she holds him steady. She counts stops like prayers. She thinks of the supervisor who smiles like a trap. She thinks of Derek's last word. She thinks of how courage is sometimes just staying seated. At the school gate, kids spill like bright marbles, and the world tilts toward normal. Maya said, "You will be great today," and hands Eli his lunch. He said, "Will you be here at 3?" She meets his eyes and anchors them with hers. Maya said, "Lauren might pick you up, but I will see you before dinner." He nods and adjusts his backpack straps like armor. A teacher waves, and the wave feels like a test she must pass. The wind carries chalk, dust, and cut grass. She kneels and kisses his hair, and the smell of crayons and soap strikes her heart. Eli said, "I drew a tiger for you." She smiles and tucks the paper into her bag as if it were a passport. The bell rings, and he goes, glancing back once, twice. Maya said, "Go win your day," softly, and watches him merge into color. The gate clicks shut behind him, and the sound is small but final. The diner smells of coffee and Old Victory, and the chrome shines like a stubborn hope. Maya ties an apron and tucks the court letter deep. The manager watches with a ledger smile. Maya said, "I can cover the morning rush," and hears how thin her voice has grown. Plates clatter in a rhythm that could carry her if she lets it. Lauren said, "Text me if anything shifts," in a message that blinks like a lifeline. A couple argues softly at booth 3Y howling. A radio newscast mentions a custody case, and her stomach knits. She steadies a tray as if it were a verdict. Maya said, "Order up," and pushes through the swing door. The cook nods like a metronome. She imagines Derek filing something mean today. She imagines a judge under a fluorescent sky. She reminds herself courage can be quiet. She sets coffee down without spill, and the cup does not rattle. That is her win. The diner hums with chatter, but Maya feels every word in the manager's sharp tone. He said late again, and I'll cut your shifts. She nods though she was on time, her throat dry. She pictures Eli at school waiting for lunch money. She breathes steady and said, "It won't happen again." The clock hands slice the air above the counter. She wipes a table twice, though it is clean. The waitress beside her whispers about cutbacks, and Maya feels her name written on the list. She thinks of rent and the court letter folded deep. The hum of the grill becomes a threat. Her apron string cuts into her waist. She steadies a cup and said, "Smile," under her breath. She sets coffee down for a stranger who does not look up. She hides her tremor behind a practiced nod. Outside, the clouds gather heavy and low. Maya said, "I can't lose this," but fear answers louder than her voice. The alley behind the diner smells of smoke and rust. Lauren Kim leans against the wall, arms folded. She said, "Derek's been asking around." Maya's pulse stutters. She said, "He can't touch us." Lauren shakes her head, voice low. "He's talking to people who don't want to see you win custody." Maya grips her bag tighter, the court letter cutting her palm. Trash cans echo with a clang from a cat darting. Maya said, "I trusted her," thinking of the friend who whispered promises last month. Lauren's eyes are steady but tired. She said, "Be careful who you lean on." Maya tastes copper, like blood in her throat. She said, "They want me to fall." Lauren said, "Then don't give them the chance." The clouds break and spill a thin drizzle. Maya feels the drops cold as judgment. She whispers, "I'll fight harder," but doubt circles her like smoke. The courthouse looms like stone judgment, and Maya feels Ellie's hand slip from hers as Lauren leads him away. Derek waits at the steps, suit sharp, smile sharper. He said, "You'll regret this." Maya said, "Not as much as Eli would if I gave up." The bailiff's voice calls her name, and the echo cuts her resolve. Inside, wood benches groan with strangers' weight. She sits, papers trembling like wings. Derek whispers to his lawyer, laughter low and cruel. Maya said, "Stay calm," but her heart runs wild. The judge enters, robes heavy as thunder. Maya stands, shoulders square, but she feels the bruise of every choice pressing. The air smells of polish and fear. The gavel cracks, and the room falls silent. Maya whispers for Eli, as if he could hear her through walls and laws. At school pickup, Eli's shoulders sag under a backpack too large. Maya crouches and opens her arms, but he hesitates. He said, "Dad told me you lie." The words hit like fists. She whispers, "Eli, I never lied to you," her throat breaking. He shifts, torn between trust and fear. Maya brushes his hair from his face. She said, "I'm fighting for us." Eli looks down, shoes scuffing the pavement. His teacher hovers nearby, eyes cautious. Maya feels judged, measured, and maybe found lacking. She forces a smile, though her stomach knots. She said, "Want to make pancakes tonight?" and his eyes flicker with hope before doubt settles again. She holds his hand, smaller than yesterday. Each step toward home feels longer than the street allows. Night settles heavy in the apartment. Bills spread like accusations across the table. Maya runs her fingers over numbers that do not bend. She whispers, "I can't keep up," though no one answers. Derek's voice lingers in her head, promising ruin. She checks Eli's door. He sleeps curled around his stuffed tiger, innocence fragile. She returns to the table, pours weak coffee, and stares at the legal fees circled in red. The refrigerator hums like a judge. She said, I'll find a way, and writes shifts she cannot work into a planner already torn. The phone buzzes with another unknown number. She flips it face down, heart pounding. Outside, the city hums with indifference. Maya lifts Eli's drawing from her bag and presses it flat against the bills. She whispers, "You are my reason," and the words anchor her to fight again tomorrow. The courthouse corridor smells of wax and dread. Maya grips Eli's photo in her bag as the bailiff calls her name again. The judge, stern-eyed, leans forward. He said, "We need proof of stability." Her chest tightens. Derek smirks at the table across from her, whispering into his lawyer's ear. She said, "I provide for my son, every day, every night shift, every sacrifice." Her voice wavers but does not break. The judge said, "We will examine employment records," and the words slice at her fragile hold on the diner job. Papers shuffle like storm winds. Maya feels the room tilt under her. Eli's absence aches louder than the gavel. She whispers, "Hold on, baby," though only she can hear it. Back at the diner, the manager shakes his head, voice clipped. He said, "Court days cost me money, don't make me choose." Maya steadies her hands on the counter. She said, "I have to fight for Eli." He walks away, ledger in hand, leaving silence sharp. A plate slips from her grip and shatters, her reflection broken in the shards. Her coworker mutters, "They'll cut you first." Maya breathes shallow, feeling the noose of debt tighten. The phone in her apron buzzes again with blocked calls. She whispers, "Not now." Customers glance, whispering. The air feels thick, every breath weighted. She sweeps the shards, but her hands tremble until she slices her finger. Blood dots the floor like punctuation marks she cannot erase. Evening finds Maya on Lauren's couch, clutching tea like a lifeline. Lauren said, "You can't fight alone." Maya shakes her head, voice low. She said, "Everyone I trust betrays me." Lauren leans forward, eyes burning. She said, "Not me." The room smells of candles and faint jasmine. Eli sleeps in the spare room, soft snores spilling into the silence. Maya stares at the ceiling, memories of Derek's fists on doors replaying. She whispers, "They'll take him." Lauren said, "Not if we stand together." Maya meets her gaze, a thread of belief knitting through the despair. She feels the weight of fear shift, not vanish. She says, "I have to be stronger than this," and the words feel almost true. Rain lashes the city as Maya stands under the diner's awning, pink slip crumpled in her hand. The words, "Position terminated," echo louder than thunder. She whispers, "How will I feed him?" Her breath fogs in the cold air. Derek passes across the street, umbrella high, a shadow smirk visible. She said, "You planned this," though he cannot hear. Her legs weaken, but she refuses to fall. The rain soaks her hair flat, clothes heavy as stone. The world blurs behind water streaks. She whispers, "We'll find another way," and stuffs the slip into her soaked bag. Lightning cracks reflecting off her eyes, fear and fury braided tight. At home, Eli sits cross-legged on the floor, crayons scattered, eyes wide. He said, "Mom, are we okay?" Maya kneels, pulling him close. She whispers, "Yes, as long as we have each other." His small arms circle her neck, and for a moment the storm fades. The room smells of crayons and faint laundry soap. Bills lie in silence on the table, predators waiting. Maya strokes his hair, whispering, "You're my strength." Eli yawns, leaning into her chest. She stares at the window where city lights flicker indifferent. Inside her, resolve builds like armor. She whispers, "Tomorrow I fight harder." The knock at the door is soft, almost shy, but it freezes Maya mid-step. She whispers, "It's too late for visitors." Eli stirs from the couch, rubbing his eyes. The hallway light casts a pale wedge as she opens the door. A man in his late 50s stands there, eyes familiar yet strange. He said, "Maya, it's been a long time." Her breath halts. She said, Uncle James, I thought you were gone. His smile is weary, shadowed with guilt. Eli peers from behind her, clutching his stuffed tiger. James said, I've been watching from afar, waiting. Maya's pulse drums in her ears. She whispers, why now, though she already fears the answer. The air tastes of old secrets, heavy as dust. He said, because you need help, and I can give it, if you'll let me. The kitchen table becomes a battlefield of memories. James places a faded envelope before her, his hands trembling. He said, your mother asked me to stay away. Maya's heart clenches. She said, you left us when we needed you. His eyes glisten with regret. Eli watches silently, tracing circles on the wood grain. James said, I can expose Derek's lies, documents, witnesses. Maya grips the envelope but hesitates. She whispers, why now, after years of silence? He lowers his gaze, voice breaking, because I couldn't watch him destroy you. The hum of the fridge fills the silence like judgment. Maya said, secrets don't vanish, they burn. Rain thrums on the windows as James unfolds documents stained with time. He said, Derek stole more than your piece. He took money, forged signatures. Maya's eyes widen, each page a wound. She whispers, this could change everything. Eli curls against her side, sensing her fear. James leans closer, voice low, but using this means exposing the family name. Maya laughs bitterly, that name never saved me. Her voice cracks but holds steel. Eli whispers, Mom, will it help us? She hugs him tighter, lips pressed to his hair. Maya said, it might, baby. James looks away, shame weighing him down. The storm outside swells, as if echoing the storm inside. Maya stands at the mirror, James' words echoing. She whispers, truth costs more than lies. Her reflection shows a woman she barely knows, fierce, scarred, unbroken. Eli's drawing of a tiger is taped beside the mirror, defiant. She runs her hand over the edges, whispering, we fight. James lingers in the doorway, voice soft, I can testify, but the family will turn against me. Maya meets his eyes in the glass. She said, let them, you owe us this. His shoulders sag under a burden long carried. Eli calls softly from the bedroom, Mom, are you okay? She forces a steady voice, yes baby, we're stronger now. But inside she trembles, knowing strength demands sacrifice. The night ends with silence, thick as smoke. Maya tucks Eli into bed, brushing his hair back. He said, don't let Dad win. Her throat burns as she whispers, never. She kisses his forehead and watches his breathing steady. James sits at the table, staring at the envelope as if it were a curse. Maya joins him, voice low but firm. We use it. We burn the lies with truth. His eyes lift, both fear and pride in them. He said, you sound like your mother. She closes her eyes, the words cutting yet healing. Outside the storm breaks into calm, but inside her, war drums beat steady. The library's air is heavy with dust and whispers. Maya spreads the documents James gave her across a table, scanning every line. She whispers, forgery, missing funds, he did this. Her pen scratches notes into a worn notebook. Lauren leans over, jaw tight. She said, this is enough to bury him. Maya shakes her head, fear in her voice. It could also bury me. Eli sits nearby with crayons, drawing a sun too bright for the dim room. He looks up and says, is this helping us? Maya forces a smile, yes baby, it helps. Her heart pounds with the weight of truth pressing from the paper. The lamp flickers, shadows spilling long over ink that could change everything. Maya sits across from her former friend Claire in a quiet cafe corner. Claire avoids her gaze, stirring coffee endlessly. Maya said, you knew Derek was setting me up. Claire's voice cracks, I didn't know how deep it went. Maya leans forward, eyes sharp. You lied to me when I needed you most. The hum of conversations around them fades under the weight of betrayal. Claire whispers, I was scared of him. Maya's laugh is bitter, so was I, but I didn't sell my soul. Eli's drawing peaks from Maya's folder, reminding her of purpose. She whispers, you chose him. I choose my son. Claire's hands tremble, but her silence is louder than any confession. On the park bench, Maya exhales as Daniel, the new neighbor she's been avoiding, sits beside her with a gentle smile. He said, you look like you're carrying the world. She smirks faintly, feels heavier than that. Eli plays on the swings nearby, laughter carried by the breeze. Daniel watches quietly, then says, you don't always have to do this alone. Maya stiffens, whispering, alone is all I've known. He nods, eyes soft but haunted. I used to think that too. She studies his face, searching for lies but finding only tired honesty. Eli calls, Mom, look, and she waves, heart aching at the fragile hope Daniel stirs. She whispers, I can't afford distractions, though her chest says otherwise. Back in the apartment, Eli curls up with his tiger as Maya kneels beside him. He whispers, Mom, are we going to lose? Her chest cracks, but she strokes his hair and says, not as long as I breathe. He clings tighter, whispering, I can be strong too. She feels tears burn but smiles, you already are, more than you know. James watches from the doorway, guilt and pride warring in his eyes. The papers lie spread across the table, proof sharp as blades. The room smells of crayons and faint rain drifting through the window. Maya whispers, you are my reason, and Eli's small nod steadies her. In that fragile moment, courage rebuilds itself brick by brick. Papers stacked, bag packed, Maya breathes deep before the mirror. She whispers, tomorrow I fight. Her reflection shows not just survival but fire. James steps forward, voice low, you don't have to carry this alone. She answers, but I will, if I must. Eli stirs from his room, clutching his tiger, eyes half shut. He mumbles, we're stronger now. Maya hugs him close, whispering, yes baby, stronger than ever. The storm has not ended, but she feels the shift, the turning point where fear bends to resolve. She picks up the envelope, heavier than stone yet lighter than despair. She whispers, it ends with truth. The city hums outside, waiting. The courtroom feels colder than winter, marble walls echoing every sound. Maya grips the envelope of evidence, her knuckles pale. Derek sits across, his smirk sharp as glass. The judge clears his throat. We begin. Maya rises, voice steady. This is my son's future. Her lawyer nods, sliding documents forward. Derek's attorney sneers. My client only wants stability for Eli. Maya feels rage, but she breathes deep, whispering, stay strong. Eli's tiger, drawing tucked in her folder, steadies her hand. She stares at Derek, whispering inside, you will not win. The gavel strikes, and silence falls heavy as a tomb. Witnesses step forward, voices filling the air with truth and lies alike. Omer, co-worker of Derek, admits, he asked me to forge signatures. Derek slams his fist on the table, eyes burning. Maya exhales, whispering, it's working. The judge raises a brow, silence commanding respect. Lauren sits behind Maya, whispering, you've got this. Maya nods faintly, her pulse like thunder. Derek leans forward, venom dripping, you'll regret dragging my name through mud. She meets his eyes, firm, it's already covered in it. The crowd murmurs. The judge bangs the gavel, order. Maya grips her seat, every breath anchored by Eli's unseen face. The judge calls recess, and Maya slips into the hallway, chest heaving. James steps forward, hand on her shoulder, whispering, I'll testify next. She shakes her head, they'll tear you apart. He says, then let them. She stares into his tired eyes, seeing regret sharpen into resolve. Eli's laughter echoes faintly from memory, giving her courage. She whispers, for him. James nods, eyes wet. Derek strides past, brushing her shoulder, voice low. You can't win. Maya steadies herself, replying, watch me. The fluorescent lights buzz above, casting long shadows that feel like both chains and wings. Back in session, James takes the stand, his voice trembling but clear. He says, "I saw Derek falsify accounts. I stayed silent too long." Gasps ripple through the room. Derek shouts liar. The judge slams the gavel, order. Maya grips the table, eyes wide, whispering, "He did it." Derek's lawyer objects, "Irrelevant." But the judge narrows his gaze, "It's admissible." James locks eyes with Maya, nodding faintly, as if to say, "I did this for you." Her chest fills with both grief and pride. She whispers, "Thank you." Derek seethes, his mask slipping into raw rage. The tide shifts at last. The climax crashes like thunder. Maya takes the stand, voice breaking but steady. She says, "Every night, I worked to keep my child fed. Every day, I fought to keep him safe. Derek abandoned us, and now he seeks to punish us." Derek snarls, but the judge raises a hand, silencing him. Maya pulls the tiger drawing from her folder, holding it like proof greater than paper. "This is what I fight for." Courtroom falls into silence. Her tears glisten, but her spine is steel. She whispers, "I will never stop." The judge studies her, hammer in hand, as the air waits, trembling. The gavel falls, echoing like thunder inside the courtroom. The judge's voice is steady. Custody is granted to Maya Collins. She exhales sharply, knees weak, tears blurring her vision. Derek slams his hand down, shouting, "This isn't over," but the bailiff restrains him. Maya whispers, "It's finally done," though the weight still presses. Lauren grips her hand, whispering, "You did it." James bows his head, relief and sorrow mingling. Eli's drawing rests on her lap, a silent victory flag. The courtroom hums with whispers, but for Maya, the world has gone still, filled only with the beat of her son's future. Outside the courthouse, cameras flash like lightning. Reporters shout questions, but Maya shields her face with one arm, clutching Eli's hand with the other. Eli whispers, "Are we safe now?" She kneels, cupping his face. "Safer than before, baby." James lingers behind, guilt heavy in his posture. Lauren blocks a reporter, saying, "She has nothing more to say." The city hums around them, indifferent to the battle just won. Maya looks up at the sky breaking into soft dusk, clouds peeling back to pale blue. She whispers, "This is only the beginning." Knowing freedom is hard-earned, fragile, and precious. In the apartment that night, the silence feels fragile but clean. Bills still sit on the table, unpaid, but powerless for a moment. Maya runs her hand across them, then sets Eli's drawing above them like a shield. Eli curls into her lap, whispering, "We won." She smiles, voice trembling, "Yes, we won, but we still have to heal." James sits in the corner watching quietly and whispers, "I should have been here years ago." Maya nods, "But you're here now." Lauren pours coffee, laughter breaking into the heavy air. For the first time, the room feels like a home again, patched but whole. At dawn, Maya stands by the window, city light rising pale across wet rooftops. Eli stirs from the bedroom, sleepy eyes blinking. He said, "Can we make pancakes today?" She laughs softly, "Yes, pancakes first, then everything else." James walks past with a bag in hand, murmuring, "Time to face what I left undone." She nods, no anger left, only acceptance. Lauren ties her hair, ready for another long day, smiling faintly. Maya presses her hand to the window glass, whispering, "We survived," the sunrise painting her reflection stronger than she remembers. The air tastes of new beginnings. Evening falls quiet. Maya stands in the kitchen doorway watching Eli sleep, his small chest rising steady. She whispers, "We're stronger now," a vow etched into her bones. She sits beside him, brushing his hair back, smiling for the first time without a mask. The apartment hums softly with life, no longer a battlefield, but a fragile sanctuary. James' chair sits empty, his presence gone but his gift of truth lingering. Lauren texts, "Pancakes tomorrow?" and Maya smiles at the screen. The city glows beyond the window, lights blinking like promises. Maya whispers, "We'll never stop fighting," sealing the story with hope.